Ghostly tales, yet mirrors of human life. Hey, everyone! Welcome to Encountering Chinese. Ghostly Tales from Zhai. Today, I'm going to tell you a story called Water Mallow Herb. Water mallow herb is a type of poisonous plant. It has vines that resemble creepers, and its flowers are purple, similar to flat bean flowers. If people accidentally consume it, they will be poisoned and die immediately. The souls of those who die this way are called water mallow ghosts. According to folklore, these water mallow ghosts cannot enter the cycle of reincarnation. They can only be reborn as regular ghosts if someone else dies from the same poison to take their place. These water mallow ghosts are quite common in the vicinity of Peach Blossom River in the Chu region. In the Chu region, people born in the same year are referred to as Tong Nian. For individuals from different years but of the same generation, when visiting each other's homes, they address one another as Gung Xiong or Gung Di. If it's a younger generation visiting an older one, they might use Gung Bo to address their hosts. This tradition has been followed since ancient times. There was a scholar with the surname Zhu, let's call him Zhu Sheng. One day, Zhu Sheng went to visit a fellow Tong Nian. On his way, he felt hot and thirsty, craving some water. Luckily, he noticed an old lady by the roadside who had set up a canopy to sell water. He hurried over to her. The old lady welcomed him into her canopy, poured tea and water for him, and provided attentive service. Zhu Sheng smelled something unusual in the tea the old lady served him, realizing it was not like ordinary tea. He left it untouched and prepared to depart. The old lady anxiously held him back and called out, "Sun Myung, please bring a good cup of tea quickly." In a short while, Zhu Sheng saw a young girl carrying a teacup coming from behind the canopy. The girl was around 14 or 15, exceptionally beautiful, with jewelry on her hands and arms, including rings and bracelets that were clear and radiant. Zhu Sheng received the teacup, but his eyes were captivated by the girl's beauty. He took a sip of the tea, finding it incredibly fragrant. After finishing the tea, he eagerly asked for more. At that moment, he observed that the old lady was no longer by the canopy's side. Emboldened, he grabbed the girl's delicate wrist and took off a ring from her hand. The girl blushed and smiled, further ensnaring Zhu Sheng's heart. Zhu Sheng then inquired where the girl lived, and she replied, "If you return here tonight, I'll be waiting." Before leaving, Zhu Sheng took a small amount of tea leaves and carefully stored the girl's ring before departing. Zhu Sheng arrived at the home of Tong Nian and suddenly felt nauseated. He suspected it was due to the tea he had drunk earlier. He explained the situation to Tong Nian, who was alarmed and said, "This is bad. You've encountered a water mallow ghost. My father fell victim to a water mallow ghost as well. It seems there's no way to save you now." Zhu Sheng was terrified upon hearing this. He took out the tea leaves to inspect them, confirming that they were indeed water mallow herb. He also showed Tong Nian the ring he had taken from the girl. Tong Nian thought for a moment and said, "The girl you described must be Ko San Yang." When Zhu Sheng heard the name, it matched what he had previously heard. He asked how Tong Nian knew the girl's name. The fellow explained, "In the southern village, there is a wealthy family surnamed Ko. Their daughter has always been renowned for her beauty. I heard that several years ago, the Ko family's daughter died after mistakenly consuming water mallow herb. It's likely she has turned into a demon. There is a local legend in Chu that states that if someone is beguiled by a water mallow ghost, and they know her surname and find the pants she wore, boiling them in water and drinking it will cure them." Tong Nian rushed to the Ko family, explained the situation to them, and pleaded with the family's master to borrow a pair of pants once worn by Ko's daughter. However, the Ko family master was reluctant to part with it because he believed that Zhu Sheng could replace his daughter and allow her to reincarnate. Tong Nian returned home, filled with resentment, and shared the outcome with Zhu Sheng. Enraged, Zhu Sheng declared, "If I die, I will make sure his daughter doesn't get to reincarnate." Tong Nian could only lift Zhu Sheng and send him back home. However, just as Zhu Sheng was delivered to his doorstep, he passed away. When Zhu Sheng's mother saw her son's lifeless body, she wept bitterly and proceeded to bury him. Zhu Sheng had a young son, who had just turned 1. His youthful wife refused to remain a widow, so she remarried 6 months later, leaving the child in the care of Zhu Sheng's mother. Thus, Zhu's mother had to shoulder the burden of caring for her grandchild and managing the household, leading to immense toil and constant tears. One day, as Zhu's mother was weeping while holding her grandchild, Zhu Sheng silently drifted into the room. His mother was deeply frightened, wiping away her tears as she inquired how her son had returned. Zhu Sheng replied, "Mother, I heard your cries in the afterlife, and it pained my heart. That's why I came back to attend to you. Although I'm already dead, I have married a wife in the underworld. I will call her to help alleviate your hardships, so please don't grieve any longer." Astonished, Zhu's mother asked, "Who is my daughter-in-law?" Zhu Sheng answered, "No one from the Ko family came to help when I needed them. They let me die without a second thought, which angered me deeply. After my death, I sought to find Ko San Yang, but I didn't know her whereabouts. Recently, I met a Gung Bo, and he informed me of Ko San Yang's location. I sought her out and found that she had reincarnated in the household of Assistant Minister Ren. I swiftly went after her and managed to capture her. Now, she has become my wife, and we are getting along well, with no suffering involved." After a while, a woman entered the room. She was dressed in splendid attire and was exceptionally beautiful. The woman knelt down to pay her respects to Zhu's mother. Zhu Sheng told his mother, "This is Ko San Yang. His mother, now aware of everything, felt somewhat comforted, knowing that her son and his wife, though no longer living, were there to look after her. Zhu Xing asked Ko Sanyang to assist his mother with the household chores. Even though she wasn't accustomed to doing such tasks, she tried her best to follow Zhu's mother's wishes, which made Zhu's mother very happy. From then on, the two of them, husband and wife, lived in the same room where Zhu Xing had previously resided and didn't leave. Ko Sanyang asked Zhu's mother to inform the Ko family of this, but Zhu Xing didn't want his mother to visit the Ko family. However, Zhu's mother decided to go along with Sanyang's wish and told the Ko family about the situation. The elderly couple from the Ko family was shocked and they heard the news. They rushed to see for themselves, and indeed, the woman was their own daughter. They were left speechless, and Ko Sanyang consoled her parents, telling them not to weep any longer. The elderly lady from the Ko family felt uncomfortable upon seeing the humble conditions in Zhu Xing's house. Ko Sanyang told her parents, "I've become a ghost, so I no longer care about poverty. Besides, the mother and son from the Zhu family have treated me with kindness, and that's enough for me." The elderly couple from the Ko family then asked, "Who was the old lady selling tea?" Ko Sanyang replied, "Her last name is Ni. Because she was elderly when she passed away and couldn't mislead travelers, she asked for my help. Now, she has been reborn in a family in the county, selling tea water." Then Ko Sanyang looked at Zhu Xing and said, "Now that you've become the son-in-law of the Ko family, why haven't you paid your respects to your in-laws? What am I to think?" So Zhu Xing went to meet his new parents-in-law. Ko Sanyang entered the kitchen to cook and host her parents while Zhu Xing's mother was treated with great respect. The elderly lady from the Ko family found this difficult to bear and sent 2 servant girls to help with the chores at Zhu Xing's house. She also sent 100 silver coins, several bolts of cloth, and frequently sent wine and meat, making Zhu's mother somewhat more affluent. The Ko family often brought Ko Sanyang back home. After staying for a few days, Ko Sanyang would tell her parents, "There's no one at the Zhu family to manage the household affairs. You should send your daughter back home." Sometimes, the Ko family tried to keep Ko Sanyang for a few more days, but she would quietly slip away. The elderly gentleman from the Ko family even had a large house built for Zhu Xing's family, ensuring everything was well prepared. However, Zhu Xing never visited the Ko family. One day, another person in the village was poisoned by water mallow herb but soon revived after death. The news of this strange event quickly spread, and people found it peculiar. Zhu Xing told his mother, "I was the one who brought that person back to life. He was harmed by another water mallow ghost, Li Jiu, and I drove Li Jiu away for him." His mother asked, "Why don't you find someone to replace yourself?" Zhu Xing replied, "I despise such people, and I want to drive them all away. So how can I do the same thing? Besides, I am happy now serving my mother, and I don't want to be reborn. As a result, whenever someone in the Chu region was poisoned by water mallow herb, they would prepare a lavish offering of food and alcohol, and bring it to Zhu Xing's courtyard for prayers. Every time, it worked wonders. Over 10 years passed, and Zhu's mother passed away. Zhu Xing and his wife grieved in mourning, refusing to see visitors. They only instructed their son in the morning rituals for his grandmother, teaching him the appropriate etiquette. After they buried Zhu's mother, it was another 2 years before they arranged a marriage for their son. Surprisingly, the bride was the granddaughter of Assistant Minister Ren. Before this, Assistant Minister Ren's concubine had given birth to a daughter who died at a very young age. When he heard about Zhu Xing and Ko Sanyang's unique situation, he sent a carriage to Zhu's house and arranged a marriage between his granddaughter and Zhu Xing's son. At this point, Assistant Minister Ren also established a close relationship with Zhu Xing and Ko Sanyang, and the two families had frequent interactions. One day, Zhu Xing told his son, "The Heavenly Emperor has recognized my deeds in the mortal world and has appointed me as the guardian of the 4 rivers and dragon tamer. Now, I must depart for my new duty." Shortly after, the family witnessed the arrival of 4 horses pulling a carriage draped in yellow curtains in their courtyard. These horses had scales covering their legs. Zhu Xing and his wife, dressed in their finest attire, came out and boarded the carriage. Their son and daughter-in-law tearfully bid them farewell. In the blink of an eye, the carriage and Zhu Xing and his wife disappeared. On the same day, the head of the Ko family also saw his daughter return home. She bid her parents farewell, uttering the same words as Zhu Xing. The old lady cried and tried to keep her daughter from leaving. But her daughter said, "Zhu Xing has already gone ahead, and I must follow him." With those words, she left and vanished. Zhu Xing's son, named Zhu Er, with the consent of the Ko family, laid to rest the remains of Ko Sanyang and Zhu Xing together in one grave. Alright. That's all for today's ghostly tale. Water mallow herb. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please also encourage everyone to comment and share more. We'll see you in the next episode.